Hi everyone, welcome to part 2. You might be wondering what part 1 was. Part 1 was the video that showed you how to export a course from Blackboard. So essentially you finished that step if you made it to this video. So you've exported a course package off of Blackboard. It's sitting somewhere on your computer. For me it's over here in this fancy exported course folder that I have on the side to hide my messy desktop. And you're ready to put it into Brightspace. You want the course that existed in Blackboard to come over to Brightspace. Whether it's all the components of it or part of it, this is the way you can do that. And as was said in part 1 of the video, one of the main motivations for doing this would be that there's stuff that you created within Blackboard that you want in Brightspace. It also could be that you use the course in Blackboard as a repository for certain files, and so this is a quick way to bring them over rather than going file by file. So there's a number of reasons why you would do this, but that's 2 of the reasons. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to jump into one of my sandbox courses. So this one is almost a clean slate, so it'll be a pretty good representation of what it would look like for you. I haven't done much in this course at all. And so the first step is to go into Course Admin. Once you're in Course Admin, you're going to go to Import, Export, Copy Components. Now, depending upon how you have your tools arranged, they might be somewhere else. There we go, can't stop the emails. So we go to Import, Export, Copy Components. And now you're going to scroll down. So you don't want any of the things on the top. This would be if you're taking things from another course, which we're not. We are actually importing components. That's what we're doing. So now comes the part where you put in the file. Now you can't just drag the folder in, it won't like that. So you actually have to go in, you can drag in that file, or just click on upload and find the file. Either way, I'll just drag it in. And you know you can drag it in, so those nice little lines will show up. There they go. Alright, so I'm dragging it in. It's going to take a minute to upload. This is not a huge course, but it's still a fair amount. And it depends on the speed of your network as well. So, but importing generally takes less time than exporting. There we go. So it wasn't very long at all. I killed just enough time. So now we're going to import all components, or if we want to import only some things, we would go to Advanced Options. Let me just do that quickly so you can see what it looks like. And this step, regardless, is going to take a minute. So now what it's doing is it's essentially unpacking the package. It's opening up the package, which only it can read. The package is meant for LMSs to read, or learning management systems, not us. So if you tried to click on that file on your computer, nothing would happen. So it read the package, and now we go. This is again in the advanced settings. So if you have certain things. So notice in this course, I have things that exist in content, grades, and announcements. And so I could choose to import only my content and announcements. Maybe I don't care about the grades in the gradebook, a lot of items. Or even within those components, I can select individual items. So that's one option. The other option is just import everything, then just take away what you don't want. That's what I'm going to do now. But think about what you would prefer and do that. The thing is, you could always go back in and re-import the package if you forgot something. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. We'll start over. It shouldn't take as long this time. So it's going to make me do the whole thing again. I've actually never, this is the first time I've done that. So we're back again. Takes a second. And as you're waiting for it to load, don't have to wait. I don't have to come up with any clever thing to say in between. So now we're going to import all components. And now it's doing the work. So again, this will take a second. So now I could take a minute to say something clever. So the way that you saw things in your previous learning management system might vary from how you see things here. But an important step in the process is making sure that whatever you export out of the learning management system from before is actually cleaned up. You don't want to bring over a course or export a course from Blackboard that was a mess, because then the same mess is only going to be worse when you bring it to Brightspace. So clean up your course in Blackboard first before you export it. Again, that came up in the last video, but it's a good reminder. Alright, so it's all done. So at this point, we have 3 options. View the content, import another package, or review and manage dates. We don't really care about the last option, and unless you have more than one course going into one, which you could if you're using a sandbox to house things, you can do that. But most people would want to view their content to see how it came over. And so it's going to take us into in this case, our table of contents. And so this was a blank course before. I should have showed you that to prove it. But now all the stuff from my previous course is here. And for the most part, it comes over the way you expect it to. So for instance, handouts, these are just, for the most part, Word documents. And they're here. Now they come over as different depending upon the type of document, and so it all depends what I saved it as in Blackboard. Likewise, quiz exam solutions, those are for the most part PDFs or Word documents, and they came over as both things. It depends. I wasn't consistent with my saving. Video responses were student responses to certain videos. In this case, again, it came over pretty much as it would have. This is a pretty old course, and that's something else worth mentioning. The newer courses, the last few semesters, a lot of this work has been done for you already. These are courses that are going farther back, potentially, that you want to do this for. So, use your judgment when you're exporting and importing. And also, once you have something exported, there's no time limit for when you import it. So that's up to you when you want to use it. So if you're not teaching the course for a little while, there's no reason necessarily to import it unless you're planning to do some edits to that course. So as you can see, everything comes over. This particular class had no discussions, as far as I can tell, so you don't get to see that. But for the most part, those come over too. There might be some cleaning up. I also did the grades, so you can take a look at what happens there. I'll jump in there quickly, and then we'll be done. So I already had two things in here from before. I was doing a training earlier, but everything else came over, and it actually saved a few of my some of my categories. The exam category was saved. The homework category was saved. For the most part, there's some fidelity to what existed before, so that's pretty nice. But the difference is that even though these are in categories, the weights did not save, and so that's something I'd have to go back in and fix. But that's a whole other training. So hopefully this answers the question of what do you do once you export a course from Blackboard. And if you have more questions, we're always around. Check out the description section of this video to find the link to the first video and some other hints and resources. Thanks for watching.